In 2014, Clint Eastwood and Jason Hall released the biographical war drama movie American Sniper. American Sniper, a 2012 memoir by Chris Kyle, co-written with Scott McEwen and Jim DeFelice, is the book on which it is partially based. The movie is based on the life of Kyle, who served 4 tours in Iraq and amassed 255 kills, 160 of which were officially acknowledged by the Department of Defense, making him the deadliest marksman in American military history. Kyle's military accomplishments were lauded, but his personal and family life suffered greatly from his tours of duty. Peter Morgan, Bradley Cooper, Andrew Lazar, Clint Eastwood, and Robert Lawrence all served as the movie's producers. Learning lines is only one component of acting. The best performers are renowned to dedicate months to preparation, study, and personal transformation into the character they will play. Bradley Cooper portrays Chris Kyle in the title role of American Sniper. Cooper needed to look the part to pull it off, which ultimately required him to gain 37 to 40 pounds of lean mass and transform from a pretty boy to a burly badass. One of the most difficult challenges Bradley Cooper experienced when playing Chris Kyle was the size gap between the two guys. Kyle had been 225 pounds and Cooper was 185 pounds when he assumed the post. Cooper confessed in an interview with Men's Health his normal weight was out of the question. I had to get to the point where I believed I was him. It would have been absurd if he had weighed 185 pounds. His size played a significant role in who he was, as Chris was not muscular. So how did Bradley Cooper transform physically into Chris Kyle? According to Business Insider, he consumed 5,000 calories per day while working with a trainer named Jason Walsh to gain 40 pounds of muscle. It took him about 10 weeks to go through the transformation. 40 pounds in 10 weeks? Walsh and Cooper worked out twice a day, once at 5 a.m. and again in the late afternoon. They concentrated on both muscle building and structural workouts. Bradley comes out as quite serious and dedicated, so it's not surprising that individuals who have worked with him had a lot to say about the experience. Naturally, Cooper's body didn't take the transformation lightly. The actor had to eat around every 55 minutes, and his trainer acknowledged that forcing him to eat was really the hardest part. Cooper recalled, "It was a big shock to my body. If it's cake and pizza, it's one thing," he said. Jason Hall, the movie's prime producer, said Cooper preferred gaining weight naturally rather than using hormones or steroids.
I don't believe you.
And we'll talk more about that later in the video. The movie, which earned overwhelmingly positive reviews and is regarded as one of Bradley Cooper's greatest, suggests that the effort was worthwhile. Bradley Cooper trained with real Navy SEAL sniper Kevin Lex, in addition to physically transforming his body for the character of Chris Kyle. On American Sniper, Lex served with Kyle and served as a consultant. Cooper learned to use a rifle and improved during the course of his instruction. Lex claimed that he could quickly hit targets at 800-yard range. Now, when it comes to Bradley's training, I'm going to leave a link to T-Nation's take on his training in the video description. It's a very well-structured training, so you are in good hands there. I didn't really feel the need to create a training program myself. Combat itself develops military force more than any other activity. The combat environment, one of violence, death and destruction, fear and valor, complexity and uncertainty, is one of the environments in which any human being must train. It is so difficult and one of a kind that it really can't be properly recreated outside of combat. So in order to be effective, soldiers are trained under conditions that are as realistic as feasible and as near to placing the individual, the team, the unit and crew in the environment and scenarios they would confront in combat. Bradley Cooper entered the program weighing 185 pounds and left it weighing 225 pounds. And when it comes to steroids, Bradley told Vanity Fair that he did not take anything because he has a history with substance abuse and he was clean for about 10 years, so he didn't want to do anything with it like that. But honestly, and that's just my opinion here, I think that's total BS. Think about it, the guy claimed to put 40 pounds of lean muscle in about 3 months at 40 years old. And it's not like he benefited from newbie gains because he was already a fairly trained individual. He had multiple roles in other movies that required him to hit the weights. So what I think really happened was that he was in some crazy steroids cocktails, and even then, there's no way he gained 40 pounds of muscle in 3 months. So what I'm saying is, although I do believe that he gained 40 pounds, there was definitely a ton of fat there as well. And again, the guy at the time was 40 years old, training twice per day at around 5 to 6 times per week. You need to be on the juice to handle all the stress in your body. Now, that's just my opinion, okay? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. But with all that said, Cooper's mental, emotional, and physical transition into Chris Kyle is simply remarkable. And if you're interested to find out what is my take on DC Comics Red Hood real-life training, click on the videos on screen right now. See you guys on the next one.